But Ndamukong Suh, when you think about the 3-4, it fits his body type. It fits a guy that's big and strong, a guy that can play ISO ball on a guard or on a center guard and just kill it. Now, he's not the Ndamukong Suh from the past. Is he still a bully sometimes? Is he still like, will he step on Aaron Rodgers' arm? Maybe. We don't know what the guy would do. He's done some weird stuff, but what we can say is he's an absolute terror. And in this 3-4 defense with the names of names, Danielle Hunter, za'darius Smith, Harrison Smith, Eric Kendricks, Harrison Phillips, with all these names, you add Ndamukong Suh, I feel like it's the Rams. Like, is that what Kevin O'Connell's trying to do? Get the names of names like they did with the Rams and they end up winning a championship? Maybe that's the formula. But first, before we jump into that, a word from our sponsors.
Thank you, Ron. I'm going to tell you about a completely free app where you can easily browse over 630,000 sports cards from every sport with hundreds more added each day. It's the Sports Card Investor app, and it has something for you, whether you are a casual card collector or you're an avid card collector. They've got breakout stars, debuting prospects. Check the value. Find great deals on your first cards. You can get nostalgic. Go with some of those older players. I know I used to collect cards back in the day with those 90s football stars. I love looking back at those today, and I bet some of those are worth a few bucks. Interested in getting into sports cards? Find great deals on your favorite players, whether it's Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, or all of those MLB stars. Download the Sports Card Investor app today. Available for free in the Google Play and Apple App Stores, or go to sportscardinvestor.com/locked-on.
Well, as we jump into the show with myself, Sam Ekstrom, my producer. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit of Ndamukong Suh. So, Sam, when Ndamukong Suh's name is thrown out there, there's interest. Now, it could be small interest. We know at one point, Big Goon was in town for the Vikings, former Vikings D tackle. He was in town. He posted on his Instagram. Now, who knows what he was here for? Could have been a football camp. Could have been just a checkup at TCO. But he did post on his Instagram as well, and people were talking about that. Oh man, could he come back? Because he was a big terror in the middle as well. And in the 3-4 defense, you're not asking a ton. You're only looking for 1 to 2 downs, maybe, depending on the passing set and what's out there. But Ndamukong Suh still looked good. He still looked like he was in shape, still looked like he can play. So he can give you some definite, like, a mentality. But when you hear that name, what comes out to you when you hear Ndamukong Suh?
Tenacity is the word that sticks out. Pedigree. And early on in his career, it would have been dirty player. It would have been suspension. It would have been character problems. But I think at this stage in his career, he's got a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. He's 35 years old. And you know what I look at, Ron? I look at his games played. I look at his snap count. I mean, that's a big guy. That's a big guy. You would expect him to be wearing down a little bit at age 35. I'm looking at his snap counts with Tampa, 77% of the snaps, 74. Last year, a little drop, 63. But look at his games played in his career. 191 games played. And I believe the only games he's missed were due to a suspension. I don't think he's missed a game. The guy doesn't get hurt. Played all 17 last year and still had 6 sacks. He had 6 sacks the year before. So if you look at just the baseline stats and the impact that this guy can have, I think that's a gigantic boost to your locker room. I don't know where the Vikings continue to find these extra dollars in the coffers, but I would love to add someone like that to the room at the very last second. That's a Super Bowl move. If you're trying to get a Super Bowl champion, someone at that age who's been through the ringer, I think you have to do it.
Here's the thing I like about that move. We talked about an offensive-minded head coach. The GM, we don't know where he stands on this. We don't know where he's definitely going to listen to the coaches, to the scouts, what they need in this defense and this offense. But at the end of the day, Kevin O'Connell, this is his team. He's going to grow this team. Him and Kwesi together have to grow this team. And so we thought about offense. Everybody was focused on, third receiver. Are they going to draft a third receiver in the first round? Is this going to be a Jamar Chase situation with Higgins, with the Bengals and how they did it? Everybody had all these questions. What does he go do? He drafts defense and then drafts some more defense. And then what does he do? Now he's bringing in defensive guys to be, za'darius Smith. You're bringing in more defensive guys now. When you think about, and then Shannon Sullivan, they've done nothing but revamp the defense. That's why it's sneaky, because if you look at where the deficiencies were on this team, it was defense. 25th ranked, 31st ranked, 32nd ranked in different categories of the defense. And then all of a sudden you think he's going to come in and just worry about the offense? No, he knows the offense is good. He knows what Kirk Cousins can do. He's seen that. He knows what Justin Jefferson can do. We saw Matthew Stafford with the Lions, and he was great. But then we saw Matthew Stafford with the Rams, and he was elite. The big difference, they put him in a position to win. That's why I love the AT&T commercial. You have to catch the sneaky stuff that Matthew Stafford says. He talks about trading in an iPhone. And what does he say about it? Oh, so you get new stuff with this, new apps. Is it kind of the same thing, but you're just trading it in for something different? And then you're going to be better? And then he kind of looks at Matthew Stafford was like, I'm the same guy. I just got traded in, and then all of a sudden I got an upgrade. I got a new iOS system. I mean, I think that's what Kevin O'Connell's coming here to do. He can upgrade Kirk Cousins' iOS. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen were already great. Irv Smith Jr. never got a chance, so he's going to be healthy. Kyle Rudolph is still in the street, so maybe he comes in and gets to play here. He said he wants to. We had already put that out there before, and now he actually says it, that he'd love to come back. Of course he does, though. Who doesn't want to come play for somebody anywhere and make a lot of money? But then you look at, and Mike Zimmer's not here. If Zimmer was here, maybe Kyle Rudolph wouldn't have that zest to want to come back here, but now it seems like a fresh new start. But then you look at this defense, and Ndamukong Suh creates him and za'darius Smith create instant attitude. They already had a somewhat of an attitude back in the day, like 3-4 years ago with Mike Zimmer. They had a great attitude and a great, scary defense. But you bring Ndamukong Suh in, you add za'darius Smith, you have Danielle Hunter who's back. That's a new look defense. That's why a guy like Anthony Barr might say, man, you know what? With all those pieces of puzzle, just grab. I'm the corner piece. Just grab me off the table. Give me $2-3 million. Let's go win a Super Bowl. That's what I hope is happening right now with the Vikings, where all these teams or players actually are looking like, all right, I'm still a free agent. I can go to here, make 7, or I can go here, make 3 or 4 and win a Super Bowl. I think that's what the Vikings are starting to do. They're starting to get looks from guys where before you weren't seeing some of these names wanting to come here, for whatever reason. Weather.
Yeah.
Who knows? GM, coach, I don't know, but you weren't seeing that like this. At this clip, you're starting to see a lot of names pop up. And Kevin O'Connell is a player's coach, so maybe that's part of it. He has seen and known these guys. He might have played with some of these guys at some point, been on the field. I think he was on the roster at the same time Suh was on the roster. And so when you think about that, his ability to call Tom Brady and maybe ask Brady about Suh, call some of the guys he knows, coaches that he knows that are young and they have a great communication, is not like a weird conversation. They're just adding the pieces of the puzzle to become a championship team. But I like the move. If it happens, it's great, because now you add another person with Harrison Phillips and Ndamukong Suh. I don't think the goal is to play 99% of the snaps. I think that what you just put out, 63, 65%, I think that's enough, because now you have that rotating defensive line that, again, let's not forget about Coach Edwards. He did that. He did that here. That was his thing. Let me try to have 9 linemen from end to middle that I can move around. And I think that's the key to success. And that's what they're trying to do. Let's find some guys that we can all plug and play. We're going to have our young guys, but we're going to have some of these old veterans to get the best out of them.